Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So Montessori education is named after Maria Montessori. Just over 100 years ago, she discovered while working with and observing preschool children that when a child is allowed to concentrate and investigate a set of meaningful activities to him, he tends to develop self-control, his movements become ordered, and he appears peaceful, while his demeanor to others becomes gentle and kind. The Montessori method facilitates learning by discovery rather than by mere instruction. Discovery promotes a deeper level of learning from the very beginning of the process. In discovery, a child responds to what is natural. The learning is processed through their senses and their imagination. Simply put, discovery is a process of learning something without being taught. Maria Montessori believed that education, rather than being a rote transfer of information, must seek to serve the whole child and to nurture the human potential of each individual. A child naturally learns to walk and talk, and Montessori found that within the child is the same type of ability to naturally acquire the skills for reading, writing, and mathematics. In the Montessori environment, the materials are designed to be self-correcting, which allows the child to learn in an atmosphere of success and positive reinforcement. The child corrects his own errors as he works toward mastery of concepts through repetition of manipulations with the materials. His motivation is not for external reward, but for internal fulfillment. The educational philosophy and methodology of Montessori is not just another educational theory. It is the scientific method of education. Montessori used the scientific method in her observations of the child and applied her knowledge of medicine to create a new model of the human stages of development. She found a progression of 4 planes of development in which there are sensitive periods where development occurs most naturally and quickly. Maria Montessori discovered that the unrealized potential of the child's mind is one of the greatest secrets of childhood. When the proper materials are made available in a prepared environment, children spontaneously acquire knowledge that is beyond what is generally thought to be possible for their age. The Toronto Star recently ran a series of articles about neuroeducation. Neuroeducation is about reinforcing connections among the brain nerve cells so that when they form a well-worn pathway. And the more often that pathway is used, the easier it is for the brain to pull up the information laid down in the nerve cell connections. The definition of learning is being able to pull up and use the information later. The article goes on to say that these sturdy pathways can be formed, for instance, by making sure that the child uses more than one of their senses to learn, or by finding out the information on their own rather than memorizing it. It is also interesting to note that the article states if a child's feelings get hurt while her neural connections won't be reinforced, so the learning will cease. So learning will stop if your child's feelings get hurt. Now, knowing this, how important is our job of educating children with respect, dignity, and love? The Montessori education does offer each child this neuroeducation. To follow the child and to meet his needs is the basic philosophy of Montessori. This is achieved through the Montessori principles: individualized freedom of the child, observation of the guide, and a prepared learning environment. Maria Montessori was also credited with the development of the open classroom, the role of the teacher as a guide, multi-aged classrooms, developmentally appropriate and individualized education, and the use of manipulative learning material in the classroom. Montessori is the philosophy, which I've just kind of explained, of child and human development. Children involved in self-directed and purposeful activities, and for all children of all socioeconomic circumstances and all levels of abilities. Montessori is a method of self-directed learning for the child set in 3-hour work periods. It is the mastery of skills, and it is a natural way of learning for the child. Montessori is not just for families with money. It is not for kids who are gifted, or just for kids who are gifted. It is not just for kids who learn differently. It is not affiliated with any religious sect. And it is not children running around the classroom doing whatever they want. Sometimes that's what people think, but it isn't. Sometimes they do, but. So these are the core values of Montessori, and I'm just going to explain them a little bit. Children are intrinsically motivated, and they will succeed when their learning activities incorporate movement and opportunities for independence. Children do not need external rewards for bribes given to them to accomplish a task. Far too often, we as parents and educators feel like we have to give the gold star or special toy to reward the child for doing a job or exhibiting a behavior that they already feel good about within themselves. This leads to a learned behavior by the child that he must be rewarded with gifts for all efforts that he makes. As stated earlier, children learn more, and it sticks with them because when it can be done using more than one of their senses, it becomes part of their whole being. And by using the Montessori approach, children are able to interconnect with the information presented to them in a very tangible way. Learning from our environment is an integral part of our day. It makes for an awareness and appreciativeness that goes far beyond textbook learning. Children will become self-disciplined when they are empowered to choose learning activities designed for specific developmental and learning needs. It is highly important for us as parents and educators to keep our children engaged. We can do this by allowing them the freedom to choose their work and to introduce the work to them in an order that makes sense to them. Learning and progression, when mastery of first skill is reached, a new one is introduced. It is also important to allow the child enough time to have it become a part of who they are. And then they will know it without even thinking about it.